I don't know if you're anything like me, and you probably are, but think back to your parents when you were a kid. Not all of you, but a lot of you, or maybe a high school coach or a friend or a motivated relative or something. They would tell you as a kid you had to set your goals. And I grew up learning that goals were really important. I grew up in a poor family. I was the first person to go to college, which was a big deal back then. Now it's like no big deal. But I was always told that I had to set goals for my high school work, set goals for what I wanted to do with my life so I could have a better life. What I want to share with you is if you're like most of us, you set goals and you don't achieve them. I remember back in the 90s, I found a journal of mine. It's a little embarrassing, but it applies to most of us. I found a journal where I'd written down all my goals, all these things that I wanted. Goal number one, goal number two, goal number three, pages of goals. I found this journal 10 years later, and I had achieved so few of those goals. My life was better off, no question about it, but I hadn't really achieved the goals in the way that I wanted to. I want to go back to the Jesus of history. This is not about religion. So notice I said the Jesus of history. Do you think Jesus said, well, okay, let me think about this. Okay, goal number one, walk on water. Goal number two, heal the sick. No, Jesus didn't do that. Not that I know of. I don't know. Maybe I was reincarnated and I was there. But the way that I look at this is that we're taught to set goals. But if goals really work, then how come most people in their personal lives don't achieve them? Now, business goals are something else because companies have goals, obviously, and they've got many people working towards those goals. But when it comes to your personal life, things that you want, most of us don't achieve our goals. And you could even say, well, Jim, what are you talking about? Look at my body. I've got this great body and I go to the gym 5 days a week. But you know what? You might be struggling with money. Or you could be saying, you know what? I got all the money in the world. I don't need any money. But you're struggling in your relationships or struggling with your health or your physical body. But I want to go back to the concept of goals. The reason that goal setting and the way that you've learned, most people have learned it doesn't work is because goal setting is a left brain function. Goal setting is based upon what you think you want. I want A, I want B, and I want C. But if A and B and C aren't consistent with your subconscious identity, then your subconscious identity is going to sabotage the goal. You're not going to achieve the goal. Why? Because it's not consistent with your subconscious identity. So what's vital here is that you start thinking along the lines of not setting goals, but who do I have to become subconsciously? That could be one of the best possible goals for you, is not for things, not for the car, not for the Ferrari, not for the home, not for the money, not for any of that. Those are all external things. The most powerful thing you can do, if you insist on setting goals, is okay, let me set a goal for really delving into and discovering myself subconsciously. How about this? Let me concretize this even more. How about setting a goal to not only learn, but to master self-hypnosis? Because when you know self-hypnosis, you can literally change your subconscious mind from the inside out. Because you're literally in hypnosis all day long, even if you don't recognize it. If you're driving along on the interstate and you're just sitting in your head thinking and thinking and thinking, and you're like, whoa, there's my exit. And you swerve and you almost miss your exit. You literally are in a state of what is hypnosis, which is a state of internal focus, not external focus. All this external goal setting the goals for A and B and C and D. Most of you, actually 93% of you, are not hitting those goals. Why? Because they don't work. You can't set a goal for something that's not consistent with your subconscious identity if you ever want to achieve it, because you're only going to achieve what is consistent with your subconscious identity, meaning who and how you see yourself. This is why, when I go back many years ago, I look at all these goals I set for X, Y, Z amount of money, but I was never achieving it. Why? Because I've talked about on other videos, subconsciously, I was a just enougher inside. I was poorly inside. And that was my, so to speak, my thermostat, my operating system. And no matter what I did, I couldn't be anything but poor because that was my operating system. So this is why both cognitively and psychologically. This is why you might set all the goals in the world. Maybe it can even be a simpler goal, like I want to go to the gym 3 days a week, and you have the best intentions and thinking you're going to do it, and you don't do it. And before you know it, 2 weeks later, boom, you're off your goal already. Why? Because we metaphorically rubber band back to our subconscious identity. So whatever you are subconsciously, you will always go back to. So if you want to set goals, that's great. But the best goal you can set is to learn to discover how to reprogram your subconscious mind, which, by the way, I can help you with that. Remember, we live in a tumultuous world, and the world needs all of us transformers. So keep working from the inside out, transforming your life, and we together can make the world a better place. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you over on another video. Bye-bye.